Well. You're listening to Gloves Off with Professor Buitrón. Alright then, I may say words on point, straightforward. No jibber jabber, everybody forward. Issues, facts and solution. Get it at Gloves Off with Professor Buitrón. Alright, what other thing is a revolution? Get it on point with Professor Buitrón. Gloves Off, no nonsense issues, politics, community. A better men follow reader. Gloves Off, a revolutionary show with everything that you need to know. With Professor Buitrón. Watch ya!
I'm back at you in Gloves Off, and I'm here. I have the pleasure of talking with candidate for Webb County Tax Assessor, Ms. Patricia Barrera. How are we doing today?
Doing good, thank God.
Good. Awesome. You looking good?
Looking good and feeling great. That's the best part.
Awesome.
And very positive of what, of the race and how everything's going. Feeling good.
Everything kind of just froze because of this crisis, but I think everybody's getting back and running again, huh?
Yes. We're actually seeing more activity at the headquarters, which is my office at 719 Corpus Christi Street, Suite number 3. People coming in and giving donations. It just started. It started, I guess, last week. We started seeing that. So, people want to change. And really, it's going to boil down to whoever has more people going out to vote. Because usually runoffs do not have the same number of people voting as during the primary. So that's going to be hard getting people. And then with this coronavirus, it doesn't make it easier. And really, we had the primary, and then it just went dead. Like nobody was talking politics. I don't think many people were actually even going out. They were, quarantined or stuck at home, And so it was very hard to really get a momentum. We started right after the primary putting up signs, and then they started getting lost, or they would be cut, so we kind of stopped, and we're back at putting up signs, but they're also, there's I guess a certain element out there that really doesn't want me, so amen.
How do you see the people now? Are they energetic and voting, or they're scared, or what's going on with the people?
Well, the reason why, Paul, I decided, remember I retired, ran for county judge, lost. I said, okay, life goes on, and I started my business. And the only reason why I ventured back into the race or into politics was because of people coming to my office to vent as how they were being treated at the tax office. Some even were saying they were being yelled at by the employees at the office, and that it was just bad. And the long lines, and I had long lines. We never did not have long lines. We had long lines at the end of the month. That's when everybody at the last minute needs to get their tags. They didn't get them, and sorry. And but we took care of the long lines. We had one debate, and in there she was very proud of the fact that she only had one line. I had 6 lines. I had a line for paying taxes, a line for passports, a line for the auto dealers, a line for information for on the cars, on autos. We had a line for new renewals, and we had a line for transfers. She had one line. So if you were there to pay your taxes, and you could be number 20 in the line, you had to wait till you came up to the front of the line to tell them I'm here to pay taxes. And guess what? The people collecting for property taxes, they weren't doing motor vehicle. So they were just sitting there. So, I mean, here we had an individual that is proud of the fact, I have one line. Yeah, but that line has caused people to be late at work or have to leave the line because they didn't get their job done. Whereas I would tell people, and not at the front, I'd go to the back, I'd say, you know, we're on our lunch hour or whatever, but in 20 minutes you'll be out of here. And people would, men especially, would say, I'm going to time you. And they'd walk past me and say, took me less than 20 minutes. But because we were organized and I believe we had a well-oiled machine that it functioned with me or without me there. But so many changes were done that it really threw it off. And it got it off the rail, you might say. And that's why the long lines, and then, well, the COVID-19, the coronavirus didn't help the situation. But I will tell you this, she shut down. When the city and the county, they shut down, her office was shut down. But when they came back up to work, even in limited by, she did not. She was still closed, okay? And she was closed to the public, they couldn't come in. And I guess after so many complaints, she finally had somebody outside giving information. But even that was not good enough. My office was remodeled after SARS, and we always had a large, during the flu season, a lot of people coming down with the flu and getting sick. So when we remodeled, I had plexiglass put on every station.
Sure.
So we were kind of ready for COVID without knowing it. So when the swine flu hit back in 2009, it didn't affect us. We were able to function every day. And we had minimal absenteeism because of that plexiglass. Now, when the county shut down, they had, you know how CDC said they needed to put plexiglass between the different stations?
Correct.
Restaurants or whatever. Well, the county did that. So when the county came back up, that office was ready to operate.
Because you had been involved with the SARS at that time.
Because of the SARS and before the swine. So the last thing they did was put the plexiglass between employees at the workstation. So they were ready, and she just finally opened this Monday. They finally opened to the public, so I just don't understand the management. From the outside it might look easy, but it isn't that easy, especially if you've never had business experience, customer service experience. And to tell you the truth, Paul, the tax office is not a courtroom. The tax office is an office to provide service to the taxpayer who wants to be in compliance with the law. They want to pay their property taxes so they don't lose their property. They want to renew their tax or register a new car so they can be in compliance with the laws of the state of Texas. And yet people were coming to me for me to help them. And I couldn't process them, but I could direct them. I helped them fill out papers and all that. But it shows the lack of customer service. And I think that's what the taxpayer voter is looking at. For 25 years, those who were older than, I was like 40 years old when I got elected. So those that were older knew the type of office I inherited. And they saw the instant change into customer service, into providing that customer service. So for 25 years, my biggest concern was the younger people growing up think that this is normal, this service, but it's not.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now they've had 2 years of comparison. 1 year with Norma Farabro, and she was smart. She did no changes whatsoever. But Rosie, we've already had her for more than a year. On December the 27th, she completed a year. So she's been there for almost, 16 months, 18 months, okay? And it just gets worse and worse and worse. So now people can compare,
And,
you know?
and in today's world, in today's society, the people, they want everything now. It's a microwavable thing. If it's not done now, forget
That's right.
about it.
That's right.
So there's a lot of things that if an office being delayed too much, they're not going to go. So they want things automated. They want things on the internet. They want
Right.
things that you know what, I can be eating a sandwich and I can be dictating something else, and at the same time I can be doing my paying taxes, or you know what I'm saying,
Right.
or whatnot.
Exactly.
So multitasking has become a little bit
Yes.
more effective nowadays with everything, all the applications and everything that's out
Correct.
there. It's easier to function. Are you going to, if elected, are you going to change things a little bit more internet friendly?
Well, on the internet, it's there. Pay your taxes. With the state, you can renew it there.
Right.
You know, with property taxes, because the system isn't ours, there is a charge, and that's why a lot of people don't want to pay with a credit card, because they
There's a
charge
charge.
the 3%. So, and if you've got multiple properties, it can amount to a lot. So, but it's available. It was available when I was there. We're gonna. I will make a pledge. I heard the people. I will not close on Fridays unless it's a holiday, and if it's ordered by the court, you know. But we're gonna work 8 to 5 every day. We're not gonna close at 4. The only thing is the concern with the coronavirus, that maybe we need to close for the lunch hour, so maintenance can come in and do a sweep clean, especially out in the areas of the public, and come back at 1, so that the public can feel safe walking into the tax office.
Absolutely.
That's a concern.
Absolutely. Things are going to change with Corona. I believe,
Yes.
and I'll say this, and for those hearing, the virus is real,
Yeah.
but so is the scam. And that scam has
It's,
perpetuated into many other divisions of our lives,
well,
and we have to stop that. But we do have to protect ourselves
Yes.
from the virus.
correct.
And everything else, all the little quilts and bells and everything else that they want to put in there, it's just somebody's lining themselves with a nice little pocketbook.
Oh, yeah.
And
You know, but the
It's
sad
sad.
thing is that the number of suicides because of being enclosed, you know, and especially in the bigger cities, that they really were cracking down on anybody walking out. At least I was driving from home to my office to go pick up something to eat, you know. So
Likewise.
that was like a normalcy.
you
for
know,
me.
you talking about suicides. I talked to many small business owners here in Laredo, and thank you, Pillar of Laredo, because we sent several people in that direction that needed help and with
They were
depression.
depressed.
One of them was very suicidal, and believe me, no government entity cared for your small business. No federal entity cared for your small business. Not one public official cared for your small business. It was only other small business owners that cared about your business,
And the
because
thing
they went
was,
through the same thing.
they were shut down, about 2 months? And then, like restaurants, they opened up at 25%. They were still having to pay 100% electricity and salaries. So, I mean, their costs didn't go down to 25% to operate. So it cost a lot of people to really go depressed because of the finances, you know. And I'm sure they were getting letters, and from you owe this, you're behind. Yes, they tell you on the credit cards, because every time I go in to pay my credit cards, if you're COVID-19, let us know so we can help you, But it still wasn't easy. And the saddest thing with the depressions was the young kids.
Yeah.
We had a
And
lot of young people commit suicide.
And that's something that we have to, as a community, bounce back in. I have no faith whatsoever in our public officials that we have now. Now, from the municipality to the state, federal, nobody did anything. Everybody used it for their benefit to whatever extent, and that is wrong. And there are some out there that are trying to help, but not one of them really stood out there and said, you know what, let's help out the small businesses. Until the cry was so much, they kind of have like a little committee that's kind of just playing pocket pool for a little bit.
Well, part of the problem was that government employees, whether state, local, federal, they were getting their check.
They were, not only were they getting the check, they're the
also-
ones. They're the ones telling people to close.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, this is what appalls me. People that work for the county, people that work for the city, people that work for the school districts, were telling small business owners to close down everything, close everything down. Wait a minute. You know what? You want to make it fair? This is a community problem. Nobody gets paid.
Yeah.
Period. Across the board.
Yeah.
Let's see what's going to happen.
Correct.
Don't pay the police officers. Don't pay the firemen. Don't pay anybody across the board. Let's see who's going to start yelling first. So you know what I'm saying. So that's the thing. So in elections now, because it's crucial,
Yeah.
you really have to look at the candidate and look and study which candidate was compassionate about the community.
Right.
Not that they're out there flying a kite, that they're actually compassionate in the community.
Right.
Not that they're out there giving food from a food bank that does that anyway and
Oh.
saying, this is mine, look at what I'm doing. No.
My opponent has been going to Rio Bravo and Cenizo. Now this week she's over there at the Quad City and giving out food.
If
You
you're
know-
pulling it out of your pocket,
Yes.
do it.
And
But
they're
if you're-
wearing their T-shirt. Now they can't give out flyers like they were doing in Rio Bravo and Cenizo. But now they're wearing their T-shirts, vote for, and whatever. And people
But-
assume that they're
Yeah,
getting it
absolutely.
from their pocket. It's not. It's donations that I give, that many give through
and
different
they're using
organizations.
it. There's a saying in Spanish, andan saludando con sombrero ajeno.
That's right.
And that's exactly
Yes.
what's going on here. And please, be careful when you go out and vote. Study the candidate. That's all I have to say.
I agree, and the difference between my opponent and myself, I believe it comes down to I'm not a judge. I'm just an individual that you gave me the opportunity to work for you for 25 years. And my job was to give you the best customer service that I could give you. And you have to remember that the tax office is a monopoly. Whenever you have a monopoly, you have very low customer service, low quality of customer service, because you can't go anywhere else. But when you've been in business and you compete with other businesses to get that customer, come to be a repeat customer, you learn. And I learned as a little child working with my dad and my mom in our grocery store, how to let that customer know that he was cared for and being helped with whatever they needed, and because we wanted them to come back. That's how I got to college. I never borrowed a penny because it was the profits from our business. And my dad told me, you want to go to college? You want to go out of town and have to pay room and board? Then you work your butt off, because that's what's going to pay for your college. And that's how I got my college degree, by
Absolutely.
working. But I learned customer service. So I get elected to the tax office. It didn't go out the window. I brought in that life experience that I had. The only life experience my opponent has is 8 years on the municipal judge, as municipal judge. And what do you do with judge? Tell me yes, tell me no. Give me your answer. Because that's how they treat the taxpayer. And the individual comes and tells me, I'm trying to explain to her. He says, no, yes or no. And I will not treat you like that. And, and customer service, you're the boss. I'm putting out my application for employment before you, asking for your vote to give me a chance to come back and give you the service you deserve. Remember, the tax office is not a courtroom. And we definitely do not need an ex-judge, a former judge.
Here's what I want to say. When does early vote commence?
Early voting starts next Monday, June the 29th. It starts from 7 in the morning till 7 in the evening. And there's different sites. If you live in the north side, I guess
The fire station?
the fire station is the easiest to get to. If you live in South Laredo, the library. And there's also the one on the annex, the city annex off the loop.
Mhm.
And then obviously the Billy Hall building, and there's other places, and they have the mobiles. But the one thing I do want to tell you is that I was told that if you do not want to get down to vote, there will be people outside, and they will come to you, and if you want to stay in the car and vote in the car, they will bring you the ballot. And then when you finish, it's supposed to be placed in an envelope and put back into the ballot box in an envelope. So, and I understand. I mean, I've talked to a cousin of mine who's in her late 70s, early 80s. She said, I'm going to be the first one on Monday morning because I want it clean. So people are still very
No,
concerned.
people,
and now,
people are afraid.
yeah, you know,
People are
and
afraid.
especially at that age.
And it's understood.
And she's very independent. She drives. She,
it's under-
you know,
it's
lives
un-
by herself. But
It's understandable, and
Yeah.
people need to understand that it's something that's there, and we have to. But the fear mongering of people that is going on, that to me is appalling. To have people of this class of, because people put certain people on a pedestal here, and then they come out there and fear mongering. Please, you know, it's just sad.
Yeah.
It's a sad day that we live in there, sad day of affairs that we live in, and we just have to understand that and move forward. Folks, early vote is next week.
starting Monday, it's going to go on for 2 weeks. Monday, June the 29th, and it goes on till July the 10th. And then on Tuesday, July the 14th is election day. So I do ask for your vote. I ask for your support. We need a change. You deserve better, and I'm there to help you get a better service.
Absolutely.
Vote Patricia Barrera.
And the election date?
July 14th, Tuesday. The 14th is the runoff.
Absolutely.
And then basically, it's just me. And if you live in the old section of Laredo,
There's
the
a
JP
JP.
position, the Leandro's position.
That's
and
it?
then, no, there's a Democrat senator. There's 2 people running. So,
For Democrat
So-
senator?
yeah. Yes,
So-
against John Cornyn. Whoever gets elected in this runoff will run against John Cornyn. Yeah. So there's, basically, the countywide, there'll only be 2
And then
positions to
one
vote.
U.S. senator position.
Yeah, right.
Well, absolutely. Okay. Well, it's a pleasure having you back. And
Thank
do
you,
visit
Paul.
us again to let us know exactly how it's going.
Thank you.
Folks, remember, exercise your right to vote and also take safety precautions. And do not be bullied. And do not be bullied by anybody, especially a government entity. All right? Till next time. Peace.
God bless you.